Welcome back for the Divine Feminine read. Yes, we have these pre-released in the members, and on this occasion it is premiering live to the members. We are about 2 weeks ahead at this stage. I have pulled the cards and we are going to get into the messages that I see coming through for you in the first week of August. Now, sometimes this can play out prior and it can lead through the month. So remember to refer back to these videos, especially for some context. Now, we are obviously going to be looking at the cards, but to gain extra insight. And it's really funny how the cards, psychic energy, astrology, they all really do interlink. We currently are in a Venus retrograde at this point in time. It's one of those times that we are going inside ourselves. We're really reflecting, and I'm seeing it really come through in your cards. We also, by mid-month, will be going into a Mercury retrograde. And I do feel there's this critical energy coming through with your reading this week, Divine Feminines. And I think self-awareness is really important. Self-awareness of how we feel about ourselves. It is very personal, especially within Divine Feminine's life, that we are reflecting upon where we stand, how we feel. Are we valued? Are we loved? Are we loving ourselves? Now, interestingly enough, the shine bright like a candle is actually in the reverse at this stage. And I do think there can be some clarity, and it's almost like that spark that you're wanting to connect into inside your life. There could have been some really heavy energy over the last few months, which I do feel that a lot of us have gone through. Definitely from last month, we did have the moon in Cancer, which can bring up significant energies, especially where it does come to emotions. As we are entering into August, I'm going to have a look at the astrology just briefly. Number one is Mercury will actually be retrograding, I do believe, in Virgo. But we're going by the 23rd, we will have the sun entering Virgo. The first moon we will experience is a full moon in Aquarius. And, we can be, all I'm hearing, honestly, is rebel without a cause. And I do particularly feel that there can be these dynamics now that the nodes have shifted within our vibration, that we're going to be very critical on ourselves. We're going to want to look after our health. We're going to want to look after our image. The North Node in Aries can be to do with stamina, muscle. And it was really interesting. There is a choreographer I directly follow on Instagram, and I do believe she's worked with the likes of Rihanna and J-Lo, and she just got a commercial, to my belief, for Nike. And it was quite unique that it was literally with the North Node moving into Aries that was coming through, very sport orientated. And I do think a lot of feminines are going to be really changing roles and mixing things up at this point in time. But I am seeing Divine Feminine here in the crowning energy, maybe not feeling so glamorous, maybe really looking at their appearance and being very critical. There can be this lackluster vibration, especially when it does come to the romantic connection between you and your twin. At one moment you can be thinking, where is the art of appreciation? Is this person valuing me? And I do feel you're willing to make sacrifices for things that you want to address, that you want to achieve. Some of you are directly feeling, am I going to make it through this? You've made a lot of sacrifices, and where has the reward been? Because I always it's almost like looking at it like a hangman position. In the upright, it says, shine bright like a candle. And it's 9. It's the hermit energy. It's your spiritual values. It's it can be the psychic energy. It's the Jupiter energy. You will make it through this. Now, it's in reverse. So for many of you, and I also look at this imagery on the card, very similar to Van Gogh. And Van Gogh was a very deep soul, and in the name of love, cut his ear off. You can dive deeper into it. But really, from a spiritual point of view, intellectually, you can be very confused at this point and maybe be thinking to yourself, am I making these sacrifices? Is it going to be for a reason? How do I directly look at this? And if you are unsure, really use this time to sit with it and to not make any drastic decisions. But I do feel something can be coming to a close, especially with putting up with people's crap, be it's a friend or a workplace. I do think our value systems are being reassessed. I do look to you at the moment, looking through to the past, And it's not necessarily that you don't trust yourself. It could be that you're second guessing yourself, be it it's in attractiveness, value, how people treat you. There's a lot going on inside of Divine Feminine's life at this point. In the heart of hearts, away from the ego, you do know that this person does love you. It doesn't necessarily mean to say that the situation right now as it stands is perfect. But what you are wanting to attract is somebody that directly is vibing at that same level, and you're not having to fight for something. You're wanting to work with this person. I do feel you're looking back to previous connections as well and saying, the pros and cons of various connections you've had in your life. The spirals of life, how synchronistically this person has come into your life for a given reason. I do feel Divine Masculine does not regret meeting you. I do feel they're very grateful that they've met you. At times, they do feel that they're frustrated that you think that they don't. There is this opening of value really pulled towards you at this point. And they have been thinking very much in the past of how confident that old vibration of you used to be. Yeah, I think there's this revamp. I think Divine Feminine is really going through a revamp at this point. At times, it can feel like an existential crisis. You may be just making major decisions in your life. You could be thinking, okay, where am I going from here? What are my plans? But you really do feel quite strange that a particular journey is changing to a degree. I also feel that some of you can be thinking, with these changes that you're making, does that mean you're still on the path? I do directly feel so. Sometimes we can be very apprehensive on making decisions, for fear that maybe it will impact or implicate the direct connection and affect it. But universe is really saying it's okay to make these bold decisions. If you're having to change things, the heart wants what the heart wants. It's not necessarily hold attachment and keep everything exactly the same, but it's rather, be very present in your life and be okay with making decisions for yourself. Some of you particularly could be feeling that you and your twin are two very different people, and because of that, the journey is ending. Some of you also could be feeling that this individual, is gaining strength, going through a transition, maybe just come out of a karmic relationship. That can even be a thought process you're going through, that if this person became single, would everything be okay? Would they then move towards me? What's the hold up? There are some changes that both parties here in the mix are going through, and so it could be causing some sense of apprehension. I do feel Divine Masculine has had a lot on their plate. They have been thinking quite a bit. There has been a bit of depression coming up. Their thought processes around the karmic situations in their life, both current or present or past, they are kind of pondering over. There is a bit of there's a situation, which I'm sure it'll come through in their reading. There's a situation that I feel that they're pondering at this point in time, and they did, to a degree, feel quite trapped. This could be because of trauma associated to a past situation or a blockage that is occurring in the past, and they're very, very frustrated. To a degree in their own life, they do realise that some of the attention they've been placing has been on a toilet roll of issues. However, they're really wanting to get life down to basics. Old dreams are being reevaluated. There are some regrets that they're having of words that they've had with you in the past. A big list of, might I add. But I definitely feel with this dynamic of, you thinking that maybe, I do think they've said to you, for some, this could be they've said to you that you've changed. They don't mean that in a bad way. Projection is the reflection. It's like, because they're going through a tough time, it can be a blank statement. They're asking you to not necessarily go, so heavy into it and personalize it. They do feel that some of the things that you had said to them are quite relevant, especially in association to a karmic connection. There is a transformation happening here, though, and I feel they understood that you had a lot that you were going through and changed. They are using you as an inspiration in this instance, even if you do feel they're quite stuck and they're not going to end a cycle. I do feel there's old subjects. How do I put it? There's old subjects coming up, but they're almost saying, especially for those of you that have had no communication, you're very quite solidly on their mind at this point in time. And I do feel there's a notion of wanting to rewrite history. This is almost getting down to the crux of things and, wanting to really be in a relationship with you in a different way, in a new aged way. They also feel that if they had ever put you in the friend zone, that is coming to an end. And they're also, you also could be feeling that something is coming to an end very quickly. You're really wanting to, sometimes we can look at time as not being on our side, but other times we can realize, hey, time actually is on our side, but how are we utilizing it? Can we utilize it more effectively? And I do directly feel that Divine Feminine here has been asked and guided to use your time well, because you're not going to be single for long. Yeah, again, time, what you're placing your energy into. There is this bittersweet vibration that Divine Masculine may have committed to karmic situations and gave a whole lot more, but it was due to codependent reasons. I don't necessarily feel it was through bad things. I also feel if they had been defending a karmic situation or a karmic cycle for a while, I'm hearing the term that excuses are coming to an end. And I do feel Divine Feminine is demanding that the excuses come to an end. I will check in with you next week. I would say be very gentle with yourself this week. I do directly feel spiritually you're going through some changes. You can pick up on some psychic energy within the twin flame connection. I definitely feel this person, your twin, is very much tuning into you. They know what the PDF is. They know what they are needing to change. They also do know the cop out of some of the things that have gone down. So they have taken that as a PDF and they are trying to implement changes. Come through and have a look at Divine Masculine and the karmic third party read, as well as the joint connection over the weekend. If you do want this content ahead of the crowd, you can come through and join a YouTube membership. Otherwise, you can get this as released on YouTube. Love and light. See you next week.